Hello everyone and welcome to issue number 91 of Anti-Life Reviews, the longest running comic book review show on YouTube. No need to fact check that, I did it myself. I am the Tony Mackay, Master of Minds and Men. And we are continuing our look at the first volume of Uncanny X-Force. This week, issues 5 through 10, which ran from February to May 2011, and of course was published by Marvel Comics. Hit the subscribe button right now, and let's go ahead and dive into it. The writers and artists on this, writer is of course Rick Remender. He's going to be the writer all month, but I'm going to talk about him a little bit because he deserves it. From a crazed Kirby-like run on Captain America, to the Avengers and X-Men teaming up in one book, to the man with the screaming brain, Rick is pretty much a wild and interesting career that has gained him a lot of success, especially in the creator-owned world where he has his own production company. And he's a guy that I've actually liked most of what I've read of his. Artist on this, issue 5 through 7, Esad Ribic, a supremely talented artist whose work on Thor, Secret Wars, and Silver Surfer Requiem I enjoyed the hell out of. Glad to see him again. And 8 through 10 is Billy Tan, a dependable artist who worked on New Avengers, Uncanny X-Men, and Green Lantern for pretty reasonable runs. Seems like the kind of guy you call in for fills a lot. And assisting Billy on 10 is Rich Elson. This guy worked on a lot of Sonic the Hedgehog comics from 1993 to 2001. Don't know what else to say about that. Issues 5 through 7 are Deathlok Nation. Our team is Psylocke, Betsy Braddock, Archangel, Warren Worthington, Wolverine, Logan, Phantom X, and Deadpool, Wade Wilson. And where do we last leave them off? Well, Phantom X assassinated a reborn Apocalypse while he was still a child. We move on to The World, a Weapon Plus program place, and where Phantom X grew up. Has been hacked into by a program called Weapon Infinity. Phantom X keeps the world in a snow globe-type place. The other X-team members are holding a meeting in regards to Phantom X murdering a child. Deadpool is upset by the act deeply, but Wolverine brushes it off, saying it's their job. No real conclusions are drawn here. We then move to Phantom X and the friendships with Mother, who is a former Weapon Plus scientist he takes care of. They're attacked by Deathlok versions of heroes, and the place is destroyed, as is seemingly Mother, and Phantom X meets with Deathlok Prime. The Deathlok's goals are get the world and kill Phantom X. Deathloks are kind of dead versions of people or heroes that are turned into robots. I mean, that's it. We get a scene with Betsy talking to her brother, Captain Britain, but it's all a Danger Room illusion. We get lots and lots of Deathlok fighting, even a Deathlok X-Force team showing up. We find out the reason they want the world. Father, their creator, is in it. The X-Force team captured Deathlok Captain America, tells them he is from a future where the Deathloks are like the Borg, and is ushered into utopia. But Apocalypse has screwed up the time stream. He then kills himself, gaining some of his old senses back. So the team says they're going into the world to kill Father. So they do just that. And we get exposition how Father has Deathloks all over the multiverse. We get some tension between Deadpool and Phantom X as the Deathloks attack. Deadpool eventually reaches Father, but is initially confused since Father knows everything about Wade, having worked on the Weapon Plus program himself. We find out Phantom X has been hiding something inside the world he doesn't want anyone to know about. Weapon 15 shows up to help. Deadpool kills Father, calling him a creepy uncle, and presents Phantom X with the head as a taunt. The team leaves, and we see a child growing in a large tube. Sebener, Apocalypse, 847 days old. That's what Phantom X was hiding. Moving on to 8 through 10, as that was Deathlok Nation. Deathlok, and I want to keep saying Death Clock from Metalocalypse, and I probably will, and I might have, if I have, I mean Deathlok, but I might say Deathclock. But Deathlok Prime is now on the X team. He wants both an automated jihad, a la the Butler in Jihad, and for Phantom X to never access the world again. Betsy and Warren are working on keeping Archangel away, putting his psyche in a good space, and Deadpool has gone missing looking for a psychic, so the team goes after him. They end up at a military facility, with Betsy engaging with the psychic on the astral plane. And who is it but Emil Farouk, the Shadow King? All of X-Force is taken over by Phantom X, while Emil himself and Betsy fight. He wants to set off a nuke for some reason. Betsy manages to escape from Farouk and try to take out the person who's about to launch the nuke. But Farouk frees Archangel from Warren's mind, who dispels Farouk from him, kills the soldier about to launch the nukes, and makes Betsy forget he isn't just regular old Angel. Wolverine comforts Angel about the killing, telling him that it's his job and it's ugly, essentially. Elsewhere, Magneto is given some information he isn't happy about, turning to the drink. He then goes to X-Force, namely Wolverine, for help. Shows him a picture, a Nazi soldier. If you recall, Magneto's family was in the Holocaust as well as himself. Magneto begs Wolverine to take care of this for him. He can't do it himself. So, of course, Wolverine goes to South America, where all the old Nazis are, finds an old man who resigns himself to his fate. Looking at a picture of his wife, he says she passed not long ago. He says he never deserved a moment's happiness for what he did. He knows you can't outrun your past. He hopes Wolverine remembers the same when his victims come for him. Wolverine kills the man and leaves. Moving on to the Shadow King, who gives a recording of famous philanthropist, mutant poster boy, and billionaire Warren Worthington killing a soldier. Angel is obviously upset about this, getting wind of it before the so-called smear campaign is published. Betsy suspects something has been up with him and tells Wolverine. Turns out Betsy is right, as Angel kills the reporter's boss and is about to kill the man himself when Wolverine attacks. Angel is put down by Betsy with a psychic blade. The team debates on what to do with him, kill him or find someone who can help. They decide on trying to get help and break out the Dark Beast, the Hank McCoy from the Age of Apocalypse, out of prison to help. Then we get a massive exposition dump with Apocalypse dead. Archangel is to be the heir of Apocalypse, as the Celestials require it for an unknown reason. The only thing to fix this is to get a death seed from McCoy's lab back in the Age of Apocalypse, setting up the Dark Angel saga, which I will review next week. Alright, let's talk about this. The writing, I gotta be honest with you, Deathlok Nation, issue 5 through 7, really fell off. It was a big downswing from the first 4 issues. There were some things I did like, such as Deadpool and Phantom X rivalry, with Wade proving his worth to the team and killing Father. Deathlok Prime talking about the Deathlocks all around the multiverse, correcting the timeline. That's kind of a cool idea. Doesn't really ever go anywhere. Betsy and Warren, the continual build-up to Warren turning evil has been wonderfully paced. Beyond that, it was really kind of sloppy. It was just paint by numbers, let's find the big bad and kill him story. We're supposed to care because Deathlok is there. He was never a popular character. The art on Deathlok Nation was also... I'll get to that. As far as the remaining issues, they were good, with 8 and 10 being excellent setup for the Dark Angel saga. We get the push into the space of, okay, here's what's happening. The team is being manipulated. We only see Emil Farouk, but we know there are other people pulling the strings, and all beginning to come together to set up this huge arc and story. Now, issue 9 was the standout. Magneto's story with Wolverine was a self-contained thing, but it gave us so much about Wolverine, Magneto, and the dynamic this team is supposed to have. It was supposed to be hidden from Magneto, supposed to do the job so he could keep his hands clean. But he's not stupid. He's a power broker. Wolverine doing the deep, solemn, without pleasure, just as the killer he sees himself. The Nazi guy having resigned himself to his fate so long ago, knowing he doesn't or didn't deserve a moment of happiness. That he had a full life, his wife having just passed the year before, warning Wolverine, vengeance is cyclical. It was a little cliche, yeah, but I really enjoyed that issue. So, as I always say, a mixed bag on the writing. The art, once again, 5 through 7, like the writing, and this is probably partly why the writing didn't land for me, is the art was awful. They said, Ribic, I'm utterly disappointed. Wolverine was the worst here. His face and body were strange and saggy. He looked like a melting old man. While he was the worst, everybody's body was strangely proportioned. No one's eyes looked right. Mother is supposed to be blind, but she just flat out didn't have eyes. Blind people still have eyes. And now, that being said, technology, the background, were all well done. It was just some... If this was just some static landscapes and spaceships, we would have been fine. Unfortunately, there are people in this story, and they all looked god-awful. But 8 and 9 by Billy Tan looked great. I only have one gripe, and that's Magneto's helmet looked really awkward. It didn't look good. Besides that, everyone looked on model. The designs made sense again. The backgrounds were just as good and a little more fleshed out. Yeah, 10 was, the coloring was off, but it still essentially looked fine. It was just too bright or something. I don't know. Sometimes the digital coloring throws me off. But those... Besides that, here are just some things I want to mention from the issues. Some stuff involving Wolverine. He had a great exchange with Phantom X. Phantom X saying, you were expecting an evil Russian with an eye patch, chain smoking, while spurting on about his plan to bring down hated capitalism. Wolverine making me miss the 80s. He mentions that they can't call emergency meetings because he is on way too many teams, namely the Avengers. He complains about Deadpool being too soft, only being there for money, only to find out from Angel that Deadpool hasn't cashed any of the checks since being on the team. Wolverine has a plaque in his room that reads, "I have a high art. I hurt with cruelty those who would damage me," which was sang by Archelaus of Pharos. Beyond Wolverine, everyone else has something of note. Deadpool being morally righteous about killing a child. I like that he is the voice of reason. He also confuses the Shadow King with Jim Morrison, the Lizard King, which got a laugh out of me. He also says, when looking for the Shadow King, "I have no idea what mysterious psychic emissions look like." Phantom X gets a lot of fun stuff here. We learn that he is a mutant sentinel hybrid. Mother helped give him morals. He uses an illusion when they are helping Dark Beast escape from the armored truck of looking like a broke-down bus of Brazilian female soccer team. Reminds me of the old jokes on Married with Children about the broke-down bus of the Swedish bikini team, which I really enjoyed. He also wants to keep Deathlok Captain America's shield to no avail. Betsy's armor, when she's astral projecting, looks like Deathbird from the Shi'ar. I don't know why, or if those two have ever met or have a relationship. She also has a moment where she talks to her brother Brian, Captain Britain. They have a heartfelt talk about her team killing a kid he can't forgive or condone, but still loves her. And it's utterly ruined because it was just a Danger Room sim. It was a disappointing movie there, A, because I love Captain Britain, and B, because I liked that moment between those two. We'll see Mr. Sinister and Toad's outfits, as well as Juggernaut's helmet in the X-Base Cavern X. Overall, it was okay. Deathlok Nation was bad, honestly. I didn't enjoy mostly all of it. But it was redeemed by the last 3 issues leading into the huge event next week. So obviously, if you're reading this run, it's totally necessary to read. And it's only 3 issues that are mostly uninspired, especially the art. So I can't judge it too harshly. But I will say, if this is the weakest month, it's still pretty strong showing for the series overall. Well, that was week 2 of Uncanny X-Force. Which character would you like to see be Deathlocked? Anyone in the Marvel or DC or any comic? Who would you think would be an interesting looking one? Is that an appropriate way to say that? Deathlocked? Can I say that? Let me know down below. Also, head over to my Patreon, where for only $1, you can support this channel. And add me on Instagram under Demon Peaks for daily Twin Peaks memes. Check out my podcast, the Dark Peaks Podcast. And come back next week. We'll continue seeing what the X-Force is up to. This time with a big event, the Dark Angel Saga. This has been the Tony Makaya, Master of Minds and Men. Thank you very much, and goodbye.